Dana Covarrubias, you just got your first Emmy nomination for your costumes on Only Murders in the Building. Have you gotten used to being called an Emmy nominee yet?
Absolutely not. Nope. No. It's very exciting though. I'm shocked and just so honored. And yeah.
How did you find out about the nomination?
It's really funny. I knew that the announcement was coming out, but I was trying not to think about it. And I was on my way to UPS to drop off some packages, some returns for work. And I was on the phone with my husband, and we were just chatting about other stuff, just random stuff. And in the middle of talking, he was like, I think that maybe you're nominated. And I was like, no, 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 that can't be true. And then and he was like, no, I'm online right now. I see it, I'm reading it. And he kept being like, but you should pull over and look because don't get in a wreck. And I did. I pulled over and I went to the website and saw my name, and I had to like refresh it like 5 times. I'm like, I can't believe this is happening.
Oh my God.
Yeah, very exciting. Right.
That's so funny that like he wouldn't like take a screen grab and like send it to you because like
Right.
it's
Well, and then what was funny, I found out later that he actually, like, the whole conversation he knew, or like he had already, like, he saw it. Like,
so he was
we
like
were
teeing you
talking
up
for
to
like,
like surprise you.
right. I think he knew I was driving, and I think he didn't want to like freak me out. So yeah.
That's awesome. Well, a very deserved nomination. I love all the clothes on the show. Me and my friends, we always talk about like how it's such a great fall show. It's a coat show. Love the
Yeah. Oh,
coats.
it's a coach show. Yes.
Yeah,
We have a joke amongst the costume crew where like we're like, this isn't a show about murders. This is a show about coats.
it's true. So, I mean, obviously, season one set in the dead of winter, like January, February-ish. So, clearly lends itself to sweaters and jackets and coats. So, I guess, how did you develop like a mood board, and what kind of discussions did you have with John Hoffman, the showrunner, about the look of the show?
Well, I think the reason that it became a coat show to start was that it's really scripted as that. In the pilot episode, um, both Charles, Mabel, and Oliver all have either dialogue or set directions that are about something about their coats that were really specific. So I think that just got my brain thinking, these are going to be very featured um, pieces of costume. So what is this? And that's sort of where I started. And then just personally, I'm a coat obsessive. I have 2 closets of coats at home, and it's a problem. It's an issue I'm dealing with. But in New York, there's every kind of weather. We have winter for like 10 months. So you need lightweight coats, you need waterproof coats, you need parkas, you need all different things, and then you also need like cute ones, and then you need functional ones. So you end up just getting a ton of coats. And yeah, so I always have my eye out. I'm always looking for a really good coat. And yeah, with John Hoffman, I think the discussion was, this is a show that really wants to drive home this combination of sort of sophistication and sort of like that classy Upper West Side New York feeling, but also, bringing in sort of the youth that, Selena's character brings in, and combining those things. And so, yeah, I think that we achieved that.
Oh, definitely. And yeah, like the first time we see Oliver in the pilot, he's about to get hit by a cab, and then he's like, watch the coat.
Right.
And it's this gorgeous
right. We
purple
knew
and
right. We knew it had to be something stunning. And but then in my conversations with Marty, we shopped a lot of really crazy options for that. And actually it was scripted in the stage directions of the pilot that it was a Bergamasco coat, which is a type of dog. It's those dogs that have like they look kind of like mops. I don't know if you know those
yes.
dogs.
Yes, I can picture it.
Yeah. So that is it was scripted as being a coat that looked like that. And so we shopped a bunch of options that were like crazy, like giant sort of structural faux fur coats. And then I, you know, they were really over the top. So then I shopped some other options that were, you know, just interesting colors or a little bit more just like avant-garde and like asymmetrical, or, you know, we tried all different kinds of things. And then in the fitting with Marty, you know, he was really concerned. He didn't want it to look too over the top. You know, he didn't want to look too silly. He was like, you know, this guy is classy and he has good fashion and good style, but it shouldn't be a joke. Like the coat itself shouldn't be a joke. And I was like, 100%, like comedy always works better when the costumes are, you know, really grounded and really based in reality. Because if the costume's a joke, then you're already like, your brain's already there, and then the joke that the actor is saying doesn't like land, you know. So yeah, so then we sort of settled on that beautiful Hader Ackerman purple, stunning royal purple floor length overcoat.
Well, his signature look is also scarves, always a scarf around his neck. So how did you develop that?
You know, I think the scarf for us was first another way to incorporate another pattern and texture to his costume, because we knew we wanted to have a lot of different patterns and textures going on with him to sort of show that he's this really eclectic fashion, you know, fashionable guy who has great style. And then I think symbolically it became, you know, this idea of a theater curtain, and sort of adding, you know, like as if his sort of blazers and coats are sort of like the proscenium of the theater, and then the scarves are the curtain. And then the movement, like Marty is so theatrical in himself and physical, and his physical humor is unbelievable, and the scarf hopefully helps, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot of dramatic flair when he moves out, and it's like in complete contrast to Charles, who's like so much more reserved and like he's very proper, and his colors are so neutral.
Right.
So I guess you could say it's
nothing
like
on Charles's costume has flow or movement, and like Marty's all about flow and movement.
They're like perfectly fitted. So what did you discuss with Steve about Charles's look?
Well, there was, in the pilot episode, there was a scripted moment that was the biggest clue to me about who Charles is as a person, and that was when you see him making the same omelet every day. Just that he's this sort of very repetitive human who finds comfort in the repetitiveness of something. So that gave me an idea of essentially repeating the same look all of the time, but just slightly changing it up. And then when we spoke to Steve about it, he thought that was great. And, you know, we didn't want to make it too silly. Like he does change his sweater and he does change his shirt and try different looks sometimes. But yeah, I think Steve was really excited about the repetition, and yeah, it kind of makes it, I don't know, I always think that it's more exciting when you are bound by really specific parameters within, you know, with which you are creative within that. So yeah.
And it's also like in contrast to his Brazos look as well, because that's like a brown leather jacket, and then you could immediately tell like that's not Charles, like that's Brazos.
yeah, and I think that really the hat was the part of his costume that was sort of the silhouette, like trying to match the silhouette of Brazos a little bit. And we kind of had this concept that when Charles dons his hat, it's as if he's becoming Brazos a little bit in his mind. So he's able, because he's someone who's struggles with interpersonal relationships. Like he has a hard time communicating. He gets a nosebleed every time he has like an uncomfortable situation with another person. So we sort of think like the hat is his way of sort of becoming Brazos, becoming this other person, putting on this other person, and then through that sort of lens, he's able to achieve more, or like, you know,
right,
better in his mind, even though it's
a new direction.
Right, yeah, it's a little security blanket for him.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Mabel obviously has like, you know, amazing coats, bright colors, and just very fashionable as well. Obviously, very like cool girl vibe. So how did you go about dressing Mabel, who's obviously you know, it's the generation gap between her and Charles and Oliver?
Right. Well, I would say my main concern was making sure that she didn't look strange standing next to the two of them. You know, they needed to look good together as a group. So that was something I thought about a lot when we were prepping. And then, I took it to the streets. I just like researched, and sat around in, Lower East Side or in Williamsburg and Brooklyn, and saw what everyone was wearing, and kind of went from there. And she's also a little bit influenced by my personal style. There was a photo of on my website that the showrunner John Hoffman saw, and he said that he was like, that's kind of the vibe I want to go for with Mabel. And I was wearing an oversized like faux fur like shearling teddy coat that had like a neon lining, and camouflage pants and like big chunky boots. And he was like, that's kind of a good vibe. So yeah, it's a little bit of me. It's a little bit of just like New York City women that have amazing style that I see walking around all the time. But then balancing those two things with something that still makes sense with, being on the Upper West Side and standing next to Charles and Oliver.
Mm-hmm. Where do you get all her coats? Or do you source them? Do you make any from scratch?
Gosh, did we make any? No, I think we source all of them. We really, our show, it's so fast, like you get a script and then you're shooting it like 2 days later, 3 days later. So there's not a lot of time for made to order pieces, sadly. But we source them from all over. We look at thrift stores all over New York. We go to, your Saks, your Bloomingdale's, like those kind of classic New York City stores. And then we also do some vintage pulls. There's a really great vintage house in upstate New York called Right to the Moon Alice, and we went there and they have some like beautiful stock of like 60s 70s coats. We pulled some stuff there for her, and then we do a lot of shopping on therealreal.com and outnet.com and Net-a-Porter. Yeah, we really look everywhere, high and low.
I'm curious, do you like create any backstories for any pieces of items that you put them in? Because I know like their production designers have done that with like whatever they put on set. It's like, oh, that was from a former play of Oliver's, or like, do you have something like that with like a piece of one of his scarves or something?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think, definitely with Charles's hat, that was the whole backstory with Razos. But, with Mabel, we have her wearing these two necklaces that have little marigolds on them. And that's sort of our backstory for that, is sort of like the nod to her Mexican heritage. So yeah, there's little things like that. And then we have this really funny backstory that I love with Howard, actually.
Love Howard.
Yes, I love Howard. Michael Cyril Creighton, who plays him, is the sweetest human ever. But we this season, for season 2, we, his cat tragically, Evelyn, died in season 1. And so we made him a little necklace it's a little gold chain necklace. We made him this season that has a little cat with angel wings, and it says Evelyn on it, and it has a little heart cut out. It's so cute. And he wears it all of season 2, but I don't think you ever see it because it's always just tucked under his sweaters.
Oh my God.
So it's just like a little secret costume piece.
That's something to look for next time, like,
yeah.
when you watch the show. So there you go. Well, I know also in season 2, you've talked about how you made some of the looks more Hitchcockian with the black and white, especially in episode 6 with Selena in that gorgeous white coat channeling Kim Novak and Vertigo. So can you talk more about that and like finding inspiration in Hitchcock?
Yeah. So there was rumors going around that we were going to do a whole episode, or maybe a couple episodes, that were supposed to be Hitchcock themed. And then I think that it ended up getting cut, I guess, because it never happened. But I sort of took that idea and ran with it, and I just got so excited about using Hitchcock as an inspiration. So I just watched as many Hitchcock movies as I could, and I read Hitchcock biographies, and I got just really into it and started, as I was watching the films and reading the books, I started to make myself a list of, all the themes, the running themes, and then specifically looking at, some of the more iconic looks, like Tippi Hedren in Birds, or Kim Novak in Vertigo, or, North by Northwest. there's a lot of, in the opening of North by Northwest, there's this really cool like green graphic grid that happens. So, and then throughout Hitchcock, there's lots of grids, staircases, there's like these reoccurring themes that happen all the time. So we tried to sort of incorporate those in little sneaky ways
Yeah, because
throughout
that's
this.
also in like Shirley MacLaine's jacket.
Yeah, we did it in Shirley MacLaine. We did it for Tina Fey and her character, and also Poppy, Adina Verzon's character. So yeah, and we even used it, like there's another Hitchcock movie called Strangers on the Train that have a really specific plot point having to do with these brown and white saddle shoes, and we use those saddle shoes on Oliver. It's like lots of little lots of little pieces, and there were a couple of Cary Grant looks that we used as inspiration for some of Charles's looks this season. So it really is everywhere. Like it's almost I would say almost
I
every
feel like Charles also had a little bit more color this season too, like some reds.
Yeah, we tried that. The other main theme we tried to go for season 2 was this idea that the trio is really starting to gel together as one. So we thought, wouldn't that be fun if we took the color palette that each of them had in season 1 and sort of had them starting to share each other's color palettes. So we had Charles wearing some of Oliver's colors and Mabel wearing some of Charles's colors and Oliver wearing Mabel's colors. So we kind of like switched it up a little bit.
Nice. Well, the show's been new for a 3rd season. Have you started at all for season 3?
No, not yet. So hopefully we'll get some scripts soon, and I'm so excited. I can't wait to see what the mystery has in store for us next
Do you have a favorite look from the first 2 seasons?
Oh gosh, a favorite look. Oh, I don't know. I love them all. I mean, I guess I would say the Shirley MacLaine look was just so fun. It was just like a dream come true working with her, and the fitting we had with her was like hilarious and amazing, and I'll never forget it. And she's just such an icon. So I think just that whole experience was amazing, and I love the way her look turned out.
It's a gorgeous coat. I can never pull it off, but like I just want to look at it. That's all.
Yeah.
Well, Dana, it's great speaking with you. Thanks so much for your time, and congratulations again on the nomination.
Thank you so much.